Welcome to this presentation, which is about a collaboration between the University of Copenhagen and Kronos Hub, where we're working together to navigate through the complexities of open access. My name is Martin Jagerhorn, and I'm responsible for business development at Kronos Hub.
Yeah, and hi, my name is Michael Svensson, and I'm head of the research support services at the Copenhagen University Library, which is part of the Royal Danish Library.
So first of all, what is Kronos Hub? It's the name of the company, but primarily the name of the platform, which serves to optimize the processes for research publishing and especially around open access. And we work with a rapidly increasing number of funders, institutions, and publishers. And for all these stakeholders, there are a lot of common challenges. So open access is overall for the better good, of course, but it also leads to a lot of complexities. Funders have, as you know, increasingly complex policies, make it difficult for authors to know where they can publish without running the risk of being non-compliant and paying penalties on their grant funding. And publishers develop new business models as a response, making it even more difficult for universities and funders to ensure compliance and do approvals and different kinds of payments. But in our opinion, the worst situation is really for the authors who have to do a lot of manual work by putting in the same data from scratch several times. First, when they submit to publishers, and then reporting back to funders, and also populating local CRIS systems or repositories at the university. So the current situation is really quite fragmented, costly, and time-consuming for everyone. So these are the challenges that we really try to address and ensure a seamless or as a seamless communication as possible between these four stakeholder groups. And this is something that we do by integrating with a lot of other systems. So each stakeholder only gets one system to communicate with, making compliance checks, payments, and reporting to a much larger extent automated. So for each stakeholder group, there are a lot of different added values by solving the same type of challenges. So a typical workflow starts with the author finding and selecting a compliant journal in Kronos Hub. Then they can upload the manuscript, which Kronos Hub puts into the publisher system. And upon acceptance, we can get data back automatically and also check that for compliance in a completely automated way. And then collect approvals when needed to count this for open access agreements, for example, or releasing something for payment. And this means that we can make data and reports available for all the different stakeholders. And once we have that in place, we can also, where applicable, do the actual payments.
So the University of Copenhagen has shown good progress on open access uptake in recent years and is now almost on track with Denmark's national strategy for open access that is primarily aiming for a green route. So that is self-archiving of peer-reviewed research in institutional repositories. The latest national open access indicator monitoring this strategy shows an uptake of 50% open access at the University of Copenhagen in aiming for the national goal of 100% open access in 2025. So despite pursuing a green route to open accesses, we see that researchers still tend to pay a lot for open access. So yearly University of Copenhagen pay publishing fees for up to 2 million euros, adding to the total cost of publication. And that is not a sustainable path to open research in the long run, as the aim of Danish universities is to pursue cost neutrality and immediate open access. This knowledge led us to some clear objectives in the work with Kronos Hub in wanting to free up time to researchers by offering them efficient workflows, guiding authors' compliance with funders' open access requirements, and reducing paid costs by offering alternative low or zero cost routes to open access, and finally helping researchers, research managers, and librarians to efficiently document research.
So as an overview of the sort of full to-be workflow in the collaboration between University of Copenhagen and Kronos Hub, authors can log in to Kronos Hub and check over 40,000 journals for compliance. And then for the integrated journals, submit directly into publishers. And upon acceptance, regardless if the journal was integrated for submission or if the author went directly into the submission system, we pick the information up on the metadata. And we also increasingly try to collect the author accepted versions of the manuscripts, so the AAM. And then we can check that for compliance and do a lot of these checks automatically. And where needed, we can collect approvals from the university and their different administrators. And upon approval, where there's a payment, we can then do the payments. And we can also automatically populate other internal systems. And in University of Copenhagen's case, primarily to support green open access, we then automatically push data into Pure. I'll hand over to you again, Michael.
Thank you. So some very important data integrations we have made in the collaboration with Kronos Hub are to gather now different scattered sources of information on the web into one point of departure, actually to give researchers the exact needed pre-publication information in what I see is primarily 4 areas. So that is web services of existing open access information. That is also known indexing lists of journals. The most important funder policies, both on a national and international level. And finally, of course, the university's agreement with publishers.
So here we see a screenshot of the University of Copenhagen branded journal finder on Kronos Hub, and includes the specific filters and data that Michael just described, like the Danish Bibliometric Research Indicator, so the BFI, but also predatory journals, Sherpa information, and so forth. We've also made the journal finder public together, and this is what you can find at journalfinder.kronoshub.io, and please try it out for yourself. And you can also, of course, recommend it to the researchers at your own institution. It's completely free to use. So here you can select any of about 40 different funders to check about 45,000 journals for compliance. And if they're compliant, you will see a flag for the journal. And if it's not, then it's indicated, as you can see here, for the journal Blood. In order to make it as transparent and understandable as possible, the researcher can also click here on why is this not compliant in order to get an explanation. And we can see in this example that the subscription option is not allowed. And then we have green open access, which looks fine, but the embargo period here for this journal is 12 months, but it's only allowed with 6 months embargo with the current policy we're looking at. And also for the hybrid option, hybrid is okay, but the license being bespoke is not okay, and hence this option also fails, which means all 3 options are not compliant. So this journal is clearly not offering any compliant path seen to the selected funder. So it is also possible to see a little bit more information, as we can see here for this journal, Blood Pressure, where we dynamically display what the different compliant options are, like published version, CC BY and C and D in this case. And if you click on more information, you will see other, but not necessarily then compliant options directly from Sherpa in this case.
So the most important lessons I think we learned in this collaboration surely touches upon change management. When working with a large university like University of Copenhagen, we tend to see that they often work very decentralized, and that definitely requires some patience and intensive dialogues and a stepwise rollout, because there's not one size that fits all in such a large university like University of Copenhagen. But working in a public-private partnership also requires a lot of trust, I think, and confidence in coupling of different stakeholders into one shared hub. And that is very complex. And it also takes some courage and a will to experiment. Finally, clear communication to key stakeholders is very crucial in regards to successful onboarding of both researchers, research managers, and administrators into one hub. And in any case, to drive uptake by clearly communicating benefits and incentives for the researchers really become very compelling. And I think here time becomes crucial. And the argument in this case study is that the time researchers need to invest a bit here in Kronos Hub should at least double back. And I'm pretty sure it will.
So as final conclusions from also an implementation perspective, we have a lot of lessons learned. And one important part is really to limit the scope as much as possible, especially for large institutions like University of Copenhagen. So really trying to focus on the main pain point and implement only the module you need the most. And you can also limit the number of publishers as well, and then easily expand from there to more full scope over time. So with that said, thank you very much for your attention and listening in. And please don't hesitate to contact any of us at any point in time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.